Hello, everybody. It's been a while. On last Friday, something serious happened. Something really serious happened to the crypto world. And you see this long, it dropped like 90%. I mean, if you look at this point, it dropped 90%. But if you look at this point, it dropped over 95%, which applies on literally all of the altcoins and liquidated about 19.4 billion worth of money off the market, which affected about 1.7 millions of traders. If you think about it, right, there is an interesting question here. So in crypto, it's a zero-sum game. Your money, you lose this money, or it's actually someone else's gain, right? So if 19.4 billion worth of money lost, who did they lost to? This is a serious question, and not to account to those who are actually holding the tokens in losses. Luckily, the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and others Binance, the bigger coin, weren't affected by it too much. I mean, if you take a look at the past, like FTX, like the collapses of the FTX, the collapses of the Luna and the UST stablecoin, and the COVID crashes and whatnot, Bitcoin were affected by it a lot. Like dropped literally 40% in a day, like even more, right? For 30% in a day. But now, Bitcoin only dropped like 12%, where the Ethereum only dropped about 30%, somewhere around it. They weren't like a drop sharp down by 80%. So many of the people worry about if there's a continue about this drop later. I want to expand it. I want to expand it on later. But now I want to talk about how all these things started. So these all started because that the Chinese, they tightened the export control on the rare earth metals, the rare earth minerals. If you guys don't know about the rare earth materials, they were actually a material to create semiconductors, which are the chips in your phone. So these things are really important. So if you want to create like a phone, you need all these chips, and you need these rare earth materials. And if you want a lot of experiments, like creating some new stuff and new innovations, you need all these raw material as a test stage to create something new, right? So the Chinese, they restrict all these rare earth metals from exporting their country. In another word, they might mean that they are trying to slow down the progress of the country on improving their semiconductor technology. This is what I think. So Chinese, they have a lot of rare earth mineral in their country, which account I forgot the realistic number. I guess it's around over 70% or whatnot. So the Mr. Trump, he was really upset, and then he imposed a countermeasure which increased the tariff by 100%, which actually stunning. Now the question lies on me. At that time, I was thinking about 9 years ago, Mr. Trump launched a tariff war and nothing happened. Nothing big happened. So if he launched a war again, like, is there anything big happen? So I wasn't worried about it. At the time when Mr. Trump announced this thing on his own social media platform, Truth Social, it was around this time where the market was at peak. So he announced that thing. At first, the market weren't much worried about, and there was a little bounces here. But then around the market closing time, it bounced down. It crashes around like 95%, and liquidated almost all of the players out from the market. No matter if you're trading like 1.1x leverage, you're trading like 1.2x leverage, you're all GG, right? You all GG, good game. It's just that those people who trade like X3 leverage on Bitcoin, X3 leverage on Ethereum, they're all safe. Only those groups. Others that trade on altcoins, they're all bye-bye. So at this point, some voices pops up. They think it's a good opportunity to get into the market. Now, I want to share some views of mine. I mean, like if you take a look at the histories that when there are rate hikes, the market would flow, the market would goes up, and where a rate cut, the market would goes down. This is really weird if you think about it. Suppose that if the Federal Reserve, if they hike their rates, say for example that the Federal Reserve hike their rate to 5.5%. Suppose this money should be locked within the central bank, and there aren't money circulating on the market, and causes the market activity to slow down, right? But it happened in the reverse way. This is kind of weird. I don't want to expand the topic too much. But then, right, if you take a look at the history, all of the bad things happen only after rate cuts. If you take a look at the history, this actually tie with the properties of the dollar. If you think about it, if this actually tie with the properties of dollar. So when the Federal Reserve announced rate hike, a lot of the money being pumped into the dollar. So in reverse, when the Federal Reserve announced a rate cut, so there is a saying say that rate hike is easy, but rate cut is much more difficult. So they're worried about this if the money being flow out to other places. Okay, but then right, a lot of the what do you call that? The KOLs and then like the superstars, even like if I remember correctly, like CZ, he says something about this is the best opportunity to get into the market. I mean, if we think logically, it makes sense at some point because the market already dropped about 90%. So even if it dropped about like 5% more, right, it's maybe like half of it. But if there is a bounces and if there is a bull market, if it goes up like 20 or maybe like 50%, is that actually worth? That's their voices, and that's those people who encounter the FTX crashes, the COVID crashes, all of them, their mindset, they think it's the best opportunity to get into the market. But here's the question. I mean, like you see that a lot of altcoins were affected by it, but then if you take a look at Bitcoin, they weren't actually affected by it yet. This is the question. Altcoins were all affected by it, but Bitcoin, the major coin, and even like Ethereum, they weren't affected by it. They weren't affected by it a lot. So this is a question for you to think. So some people worry about the market were like actually gone down a bit, and then there was a dead cat bounce, and like some people worry about the bear market is here. Like if you take a look in 2021, since after the what do you call that, the stimulus package that Mr. Trump announced, and then like this QE, quantitative easing, a lot of the money being pumped into the market, and you see that the stock market actually goes up onward without stopping down. Many of the people think there should be a slowdown, otherwise there should be a reverse down on it, because like even like the popular guys like Warren Buffett say that with his Warren Buffett indicator, he feels like it's really risky to stay in the market. So if we read news right, Mr. Warren Buffett, he'd actually sold off a lot of his own stock and holds a lot of cash. And yeah, he thinks about that. So different kind of voices, different kind of thinking. But you need to worry about all these things. Though not all people were actually affected by these crashes, there are some people they were like they already know what's happening in the market, and they were like bat first. They bat first. Is this the one? They bat it first. They made a short bet on BTC and the ETH before the crashes happened, and then he profited profited off about 160 million off the market. And then the same thing happened for the USDE, which they depeg and crashes down around like 65 cent, crashes down to this point and then recover. Now many of the people think, right, why many of the people think why USDE is different than UST, the Luna algorithm stablecoin. If you take a look back on the Luna crashes, the crashes happened on Luna, and then the stablecoin were affected by it as well. There were many people hope, including me at the time, I weren't knowledgeable enough to know that the Luna stablecoin were actually algorithm coins, were based on mainly on the Luna. So the UST were actually forked out from the Luna. So that means that if Luna have money, and then UST is sufficient enough to uphold its value. So you cannot see the 1.00 on UST. But for USDE is much stable because it uses the both BTC and ETH as a collateral and uphold its value. So there are many people who have this knowledge. When you see this thing drop down, we all in and gain a lot of money for free. And this is a smart guy. So now the question lies on this thing. If there like a bull market happen, is gonna happen onwards, or is there's a bear market coming soon? I'm not sure about these, but if we take a look properly, there are many of the ETF weren't actually on board yet. They weren't actually approved yet. Even like for Blackcoin ETF, they weren't actually approved as well. So there are many of the major good news yet to happen. So who knows if the market is going down or going up. And finally, my advice is that not to trade leverage. And sorry about the mic quality. I adjusted something. I adjust it back now. And thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye.